And I'll let Ray tell you, introduce himself to you, and then we're going to open it up for some questions. I'll start off by interviewing Ray. So Ray, why don't you tell everybody about yourself?
Well, I started in real estate in 2003 out of necessity because I didn't want to get promoted. My wife and I did not want to leave Orlando, so we decided to try our hand in real estate. And at the time, I had a 3-year-old son. My wife was a stay-at-home mom, and I decided to go into a 100% commission business. So we didn't want to go to the places that my company was going to take me. So I got my real estate license in 2002, and in August of 2003, got going with a large firm for their training. But back in 2003, the training was watching a TV with a video cassette. And we would watch one day about FSBOs, and we'd all get on the same, we'd use the same list of people like at Bold, and we'd call the same people, and we would set appointments, and we'd go out, and that's just the way it was because the internet wasn't the way the internet is now. And it was just old school. And in 2003, the market was kind of normal. Average sale price in our area was about 140,000. And that's what we knew, and we got going. We got to see the first up market in 2004, 5, and 6 to where our median price in Orlando got to $265,000. And by 2008, we had crashed down to somewhere right around $100,000. And in January of 2011, our median price in Orlando, Florida was $95,000. The same median price as it was in 1997. So 13 years later, we actually had the same median price in Orlando. And I'm telling you all this because, you know, when I look at people like Rich, that's been around for a while, and some of the other faces on this broadcast, some of us have been through things like this, but not quite like this. You know, we had a financial crisis last time. This is a medical crisis. And I'm going to kind of give you my spin on what I think is going to happen, because one of the things that Rich will tell you is when I got into the real estate market a long time ago, one of my jobs back in the day was when I came out of college, I was a chemist. So for me, I really like to know the numbers. I like to know what's going on. So for me, I want every one of my clients to always know that I am the market expert, period. So, you know, Keller Williams a few years ago had this $1 million agent designation to somebody or a team that makes over $1 million in commission, gross commission earned in a year. And me and my team have been part of that for 6 straight years. And I take a lot of pride in that. And it's because of the people around me. It's not just because of me. And I have a great team. And like Rich was saying, I have 2 other teams in different areas of the country or the state as well. And for our total production last year, my Orlando branch was right at 50, and our total in all 3 locations was 105 million in production. So I do that. I love my partners. They're great at what they do, and we're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like. But for me, I've been blessed to come to Keller Williams in 2005. In 2006, we opened up our Waterford Lakes Market Center. I was an investor there. And by 2000, late of that year, the market started crashing. And in our agent partner meeting, I'm the OP of the Gainesville Market Center now as well. And I had a gentleman named Steve Tufts on our call last week at our agent partner meeting. And one of the reasons I brought him on was when they were writing the book Shift, Gary actually had him in the Shift book. He was actually in one of the chapters in Shift giving his take on what was going on. So I brought him on to tell us a little bit about his take on the shift and why this shift is going to be different than the last shift. At least that's his take, and his take and my take are very similar. We are in an economy now that's very, very robust up until about 3 weeks ago. We have a lot of people that want to buy. We don't have a lot of inventory, okay? And right now, prices are, even though they seem high to the average person, in Orlando, our median price is only $250,000. And in 2007, it was $265,000. So we're not even where we were at 13 years ago, as far as the median price goes. So my personal opinion, and in Steve's opinion, after this crisis gets some semblance of normalcy, we're going to see a large uptick in buyers, because there's a lot of people that still want to buy. They're just scared right now. And the buyers that we see in the market today are very motivated buyers. The tire kickers are not going out and looking at houses quite as much as they used to. You know, my team in the last month put $3 million under contract, and that includes us being locked down for the most part for, you know, a week and a half. So I say that not out of bragging. I say that because there's still business out there. And if you're not making your calls to your database right now and letting them know what's going on in life, not just real estate, but life, then you're missing the boat, because right now, when you make your care calls to your database, they're actually at home. So I teach database classes all over the state for our regional director, Georgia Alpazar. And it's kind of my specialty, because I love working with people that I've worked with and friends and family. And I do get a lot of referrals right now inside of Command. I'm working with 27 outside referrals in and out. And for me, it's because I like to share and give back. And that's why when Rich invited me to this, I take it as a personal honor to be able to do this, because, you know, as we make our profession better, we all get better for it. And Rich has been a partner of mine since, what was it, Rich, 2010 when you took over Nona, call it Lee Vista?
2009.
Yeah, and Rich has always been the way Rich has always been. When Rich moved to the area, I was one of the bigger REO agents in Orlando. And darn, if he wouldn't go to every class I ever taught.
I still do.
He would hunt me down with a list of questions after every class, like nobody's business. So Rich has always been Rich. So what you see today is what Rich was 11 years ago. So we kind of grew up in this market from 2010 going forward together. And Rich has done well with his life, and you know, I'm trying to catch up to him. But
you're way too generous, Ray.
But you know, so when we talk about our care calls, because a lot of people say, well, Ray, you know, I don't want to sound like a salesperson. People are scared right now. You know, if I call them, you know, what do I say? And the thing is I'm not a big social media person, but I'm becoming a social media person. One of the reasons that I love Facebook is because before I make a care call to somebody, I pull up their Facebook, because they're already in my Facebook, because they're in my database. And I look at what's going on in their lives. And if I don't have anything to talk about, we talk about what they posted, because they open that up for the world to see. And we can talk about their daughter winning the soccer contest in January. And I can say, hey, I saw a couple months ago that it looks like your daughter won the soccer championship. And they love to talk about their family, right? The Ford principle.
Right.
But guys, this is the thing. It's all about them. It's not all about you. But inevitably, what people always say at the very end, if they have time, and right now they have nothing but time, they will ask you how the market is going. And they do that for me 100% of the time. Why? Because we talk about them, and out of etiquette, they will ask me how the market's going, how my wife's doing, how's my son. You know, they see me on Facebook. I do a lot of commenting and liking of my clients' Facebook posts. You know, I made a personal group with just my database. So every day I'm going through there and I'm making sure that I respond a lot to their post. Why? Because they post that for a reason. They post it because they're proud. If they need help, they post. If they want to grieve, they post. You know, I don't really comment on a lot of the negativism that I'm hearing out there, because I don't buy into that.
Right.
Guys, you know, the one thing, if you learn anything today, and I'm not sure what other people have said, is reach out to your database, because when things were falling apart in 2006 and 7, at the family reunion in 2007, Gary said, guys, your database will keep you in business no matter how hard this is going to be. And I would be willing to bet a lot of money that Gary didn't even know how bad it was going to be. He knew it was going to be bad. He saw it going down in all places, you know, California, Vegas, 18 months before it even hit Orlando. And
right.
When I was looking into the numbers for Gainesville, they didn't really hit bottom till 2008 or 9. So Gary has his pulse on what's going on. But the one thing that Gary's bought into over the, 15 years that I've been associated with Keller Williams is your database is the one thing that you can count on year after year. No matter how bad the market is, your database will always give you business and keep you alive as long as you feed it and nurture it, period. Wouldn't you agree, Rich?
I absolutely would, 100%. You've given us so much information in just the first opening statement. So I just want to go back a little bit, make sure everybody heard what you said. So first of all, kudos on a great year, 105 million, Ray. Oh my God, that's tremendous with you and your expansion partners. That's about 400 units at your price point, maybe a little bit more. That's fantastic. So obviously, and what you've just ascertained in the last 5 or 6 minutes is that you are an expert in the field of real estate. You know your numbers. You know exactly where the market is. You remember the years and the conversations that we had in the past. So one of the things you mentioned, I just want to drill down. Oh my God, 27 referrals you're working with at the present moment. Can you just go drill down a little bit how you got so many referrals that you're actually working on? Did I hear that correct?
Yeah, I'm usually in 1 to 2 market centers a month teaching outside of Orlando. I know that somebody had asked me to teach the investor class in Spring Hill. So, I'll probably, be willing to do that, Jim, if you'll have me. And it's great. I mean, every time I teach it, we pack the room, and I can't take a lot of credit for that. George Alpazar had charged all of our OPs to bring that to our region. And there's a gentleman named Paul Cornuke that kind of opened his books. He actually came to Gainesville, and I get to spend a day with him. And he kind of taught us what that looked like and said, hey, Ray, I'm about to retire. You teach it. So, and I enjoy it. And I live the life of buying houses like Rich does and living that passive income, because I know that I won't be doing real estate forever. And one day I'll want to cash it all out and live right next to Rich on the beach,
There you go.
Yeah, I really like that. But going back to your question, Rich, when Keller rolled out the referral platform, call it 2 years ago now, I think it was Family Reunion of 18. One of the things that I went to hard at work right away was going out and reaching out to the biggest listing agents in all the biggest cities in America through Command, and reaching out, writing a personal message to each one and sending invites to them. And I made that as part of our lead generation time for my team. So now when I get outside referrals anonymously, it was because of the hard work that we did back then and we do now. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically you can go into any city in America, you can look up who's the top listing agents in certain areas of the city, and you can actually join their network and invite them to join your network. And when they're looking for a referral partner and wherever you're at, you will show up. And that's what's really, really nice about what Gary did, because with our 180 something thousand agents, you can make a living in referrals if that's all you wanted to do and just mine for that. So I'm actually I listed a property for a gentleman in our Jax Beach office on Friday. He gave me the referral early last week. We went out, listed the property, got a full price offer this morning. And I had taken him out this weekend using all the protocols to show property. We found a house, and that was all from a referral from Jax Beach. Well, I'll get 2 sides of that, and again, I would have never met these people if it wasn't for Jim and the Jax Beach Market Center.
So congratulations once again, Ray. It sounds to me that you're being very purposeful on your approach, your strategy to referrals. And this has been ongoing since, I would gather, since we launched Kelly 2 years ago in the referral program.
Correct. I got right on it because, referrals and database referrals are by far, for one, I don't mind giving away 25% of the commission, because these folks will now go into my database forever. One works for Disney, one works for SeaWorld, and they know a lot of people. And again, I'm a database miner, and anybody I can put into my database, even if it costs me 25%, I'm going to give 25% on both sides for the buy and the sell, which a lot of agents probably wouldn't do that. But I'm very lucky to have gotten this referral, and now they're actually going to be going into my database forever. And they love that I was able to get them top dollar for their house and find them the house that they want to live the next 20 years of their life in this weekend.
So I love everything that you're doing over there, Ray. Talk to me a little bit since the virus is the market of the moment that we're in. What changes have you made on your team on your approach to doing real estate? What are the adaptations of the evolutions of your team? What are you doing differently?
Okay, so I'm a little bit of a control freak. So anybody that knows me, my staff works from home. I don't have virtual assistants. We all work in a big, I was nice enough to inherit a really nice office in the Waterford office here. And we would all meet in the morning and have our daily huddle. And basically you talk about what winning the day looks like. It's a 15-minute all gather around, and we talk about how many contacts you want to make, how many database entries you want to make, what kind of social media presence you want to enact today. And with everything going on, it's now an 8:45 Zoom call from 8:45 till 9, which is perfect because now this week James Shaw is kicking off the shift class.
Sure.
But what's great is now we all get on the Zoom call in the morning from wherever you're at, and we talk about wins and losses real quick. We talk about some tough conversations, and we talk about our numbers. And it's all through Zoom, which, again, we might just keep that from now on. Even though I like people coming into the office, I think my team likes it better, but they don't have to come into the office for that.
Good for you. So what does your average day look like? So as far as time blocking, activities, what are those activities?
9 o'clock, we start lead generating. The first thing I do is I pull up Facebook. I'm pulling up Facebook. Now, I've got a pretty rigorous schedule with everything that I have going on, but I want to make sure that I call at least 20 people a day. And what's nice is, in 2012, I was being coached by a gentleman from Brian Buffini. And right around then, I found the wonderfulness of texting people. So when I would call somebody and not get them because they're working, I would send a nice text, basically tell them that I'm thinking about them. And, and whatever I was going to talk to them about, I would say something, congratulate them or grieve with them or whatever real quick on the text. And mysteriously, I'd always get a text back and they would thank me for the text. So when I told my Buffini coach what I did, he told me that I couldn't do that. And it had to be a phone call and it had to be a conversation. Well, unfortunately, because I'm still a Buffini-ite today, because I think it's a great program, I fired my coach back then. And now it's really, for me, it's all about texting and or private messaging. So for me, lead generation is essential to our business, and people forget us. As much as we like to think, no matter how many client parties I have or how many giveaways I did. So last Friday, the first day of our essential lockdown in Orlando, I found a bag of, I bought 1,000 hand sanitizers last fall, right when flu and cold season was getting started. And me and my team bagged them up with our cards on them, and we went to our database and we handed them out for cold and flu season. And, with hand sanitizer running as a premium right now, I happened to find a bag under my desk that had about 40 to 50 hand sanitizers from Bed Bath & Beyond. So I was quite the hero going to my database and handing out hand sanitizer. But more importantly than that, it was the thought of it for the people that didn't want to interact with me. But they, again, during that time that I went out on Friday, I got 2 bone-in ribeyes from the manager of Longhorn. I got a couple of movie passes for the manager of Regal. These are people just thanking me for running hand sanitizer because they didn't have any. So guys, this is the thing. Don't just be a realtor, be a resource in any way you can be. Georgia Alpazar on our leadership call yesterday had talked about, $5 or $10 gift cards to some of the local restaurants that need business. Why wouldn't you be able to drop that off or maybe send an e-gift card? The end of last week, all the Outback, Bonefish, and Carrabba's were running promotions, buy $50 and get a $20 gift card, e-gift card that goes till the end of the year. I bought $1,000 worth and sent $20 e-gift cards for free that I didn't pay anything for. And I will give the $50 e-gift cards away for closings, but the $20 ones I gave to my best clients because this is a virtual world right now. So I was able to make, $40 per 100 spent. I'm going to spend it anyway, spoiling my clients. That was free money, Rich. That's $40 per 100 I spent.
That is amazing. Ray, I love what you just said. You said, don't be a realtor, be a resource. Guess what we're going to name this Zoom call on YouTube? What the name's going to be?
What's it going to be?
Don't be a realtor, be a resource.
That's
I
right.
think
Absolutely.
that was fantastic. That was another nugget I was just writing down. So I'm going to open it up in about a minute or two to everybody to ask some questions to you. Obviously, you're an expert and a resource in the field of real estate. If you remember back about 2008, 2009, when we first got to meet, Ray, the market was pretty bad, you know. I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I think that we need to let agents know that it may get worse before it gets better with the virus that we're dealing right now. However, as bad as the financial crisis got in 2008 or 9, I don't ever remember opening up my computer and seeing on MLS that the day before there was 0 closings. I don't ever remember that.
No, and never will.
They'll always, no matter what the circumstances are, we'll always have closings. There'll always be listings. The people that are doing business right now are the people who are they're motivated. They need to buy or sell in real estate. And I think that the quality of the leads are definitely going up right now.
Absolutely. One of the things, when I got the message that Realtor.com and Zillow was going to be cutting my marketing for the next couple of months in half to be proactive, I called my reps and thanked them because, again, I know it wasn't the rep, but I just wanted to thank them for being proactive before I cut them out. And we talked about some of the chatter that they were getting with other agents around the country. And they confirmed that it seemed like a lot of the leads, even though they were less by about 70%, the ones that were coming through were actually viable people that wanted to talk real estate. And I couldn't agree anymore. The only negative thing that I've seen so far, me personally, was on Sunday, I got a $7.5 million lead, which that would be the biggest sale that I would ever sell. And I talked to the gentleman, and he's from Malibu, still owns a house in Malibu. Mm-hmm. And he moved to Winter Park a year ago and rented a house on a lake and wants to buy something downtown on a lake. So he wanted to see a house. So I turned it over to my director of operations, and she was going to take him out tomorrow at 2:00. Well, he called her this morning and said, hey, based on what I'm hearing, that up to 200,000 people could die from Corona, I'm not going anywhere for a month. So if we can pick this back up in a month, I still want to buy a lake house downtown. It just won't be now. So she had already called his banker, got all the financials to send over to the listing agent. So whether we get the sell now or whether we get the sell then, it won't really matter to us as long as he feels safe. And when we make our care calls to people and they do want to see properties, because investors will still always want to invest.
That's right.
Even though I'm willing to go and be their eyes and ears. I have an investor right now that says, hey, Ray, if you'll go check it out and you like it, I'll buy it. So guess what? Tomorrow, I will be going to a house that we actually went under contract 11 days ago. We couldn't get into the house because the tenants that are moving out today, they said to the owner that they felt ill and they wanted to self-quarantine, which basically meant they didn't want to show the house. But I'm willing to go into the house tomorrow. I've got one of those N95 masks and shoot the pictures because we made the home inspection deadline 17 days out, so we had plenty of time to get a home inspector in later this week. So remember, the business is there. You just have to be pretty creative in different markets, Rich.
Love that. Love that. So I'd like to open it up to anybody who has a question they'd like to ask Ray about what he's doing or what he's been through. He's been in real estate, almost 20 years of experience. So who would like to open it up? What questions do you have? Guys, we've got 37 people on the line right now. Someone's got a question.
I see Myra on there.
Myra's on.
So Rich, now where's everybody from?
Mostly it's the Elite Partners, which is Citrus, Spring Hill, Claremont. I open it up to the Advantage Group too. It's open to anybody. I post the link every day on Facebook, so they don't even have to be a Keller Williams agent. Anybody is more than welcome to come on with us. It's public. And afterwards, the recording is going to be posted to my YouTube channel. So anybody can go to my YouTube channel to find any of the previous broadcasts. We had Bob Lucido last week. We had amazing people. We've had some really good people. We've got Craig Tamar from your market center in Gainesville. On Thursday, we've got Jeff Quinton from New Jersey. We've had Tony Zargami from Sarasota last week. So we've had some really good people. Yesterday, we had Brandy and David Matheson Klein. So just a lot of people who are in that 50 million and above category to see what those experts are doing. And obviously, you know, Bob Lucido closed 2,000 units last year. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
He's up about 800 million, 700 million in his closings. He's up there somewhere. And you know what? If everybody just takes one or two nuggets from each one of these calls, right? Just one or two nuggets. Oh my God, we can unilaterally we can together rewrite the way real estate is being done here in the state of Florida or all over the world for that matter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not rocket science.
No, it isn't. It's about activities, right? It's about activities, just staying on task. So guys, does anybody have any questions for Ray? Because I know the time is of the most important thing and I want to value everybody's time. I told Ray between 30 and 40 minutes. Right now we're on 28 minutes. So does anybody have any questions for Ray? Because if not, we're going to wrap up. I'll ask one last question to Ray as a closing thought, unless someone has a question. So Ray, I'm going to ask you one last closing thought then. So what one piece of advice do you think is the biggest priority that agents really need to do?
Well, I guess the biggest priority, again, because I'm a database miner, is to be the expert. Okay, what I mean by that is there's a lot of great information out there, you know, with Inman News, with your local real estate board, Res Media. There's all kinds of just publications that talk about real estate. And when my clients call me for certain things, I want them to call me about everything. And I have to know my business. You know, like if I had my neck worked on last year, and I made sure that I had the best neurosurgeon in the city. You know, I want every realtor that I interact with to be that person that your database seeks out and tells their friends. You don't want anybody else but enter a name, whoever that realtor is, because they are the best. Because there's no better personal guarantee than somebody saying that this person's the best, don't use anybody else. And they're singing your praises as a realtor. Because there's too many bad ones out there.
You know, Ray, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that we not only owe it to our industry, we owe it to ourselves and to our families to be the very best resource for everybody out there so we can help other people get what they want when they want it. Gary Keller says it all the time.
Yep.
So Ray, I appreciate your time. If anybody has any questions, now's the time. If not, Ray, I'm going to say thank you once again, and this will be downloaded by tomorrow on the YouTube channel. Just type my name in and you'll see this entire phone call.
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, guys. Take care, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Ray.
Thank you.